Hey everybody, I'm back with another What the Heck Is It? You ever seen anything like that before? I'll show you a little more. Top part has a spring-loaded plunger with little fins in the bottom. They turn. They're not sharp. I can rub my fingers on them. The jar has volume markings on the outside, 1 cup to 2 cups. And inside, there's a little wooden piece that fits in there. So what do you think that is? Stay tuned, follow the channel, and I will show you what it is and what it does. We'll see if it works and see if it's something you think you would have ever needed in your house. What did you guess? If you guessed nut chopper, you would be right. Actually, it's really a nut crusher. When you look at older recipes, they usually refer to crushed nuts, not chopped nuts. These days, when we use food processors and blenders, we tend to refer to them as chopped nuts. I know crushed nuts will make a lot of 8th grade boys giggle, but this is not the place for that kind of humor. How do you think it works? And will it hold up to modern methods for chopping nuts? Let's find out. I've got my pecans here from the last video. So I'm going to put them in here. I'm going to put about half a cup. And then I'm going to put the lid on and then push it down and see how we do. I didn't count how many chops I did, but it looks pretty good. If you were making cookies, that's probably about the consistency of chopped nuts that you would buy in a grocery store. So let's compare that to how this would have been done in the old days by a household that did not have such a fancy gadget. What would they have used? A knife. So let's take about half a cup of pecans, which is my handful here, and see how long it takes me to chop these with a knife. And these are much more chopped and not so crushed. However, if I wanted to do this faster, I could probably just crush them. That doesn't work that great. You really do have to sort of chop them. So my knife skills are not the greatest. Maybe some of my chef friends out there can give me some tips in the comments, but they were much finer in the little machine. So I would say it definitely outperforms a knife. I don't know that they would have used this way back in the day, because in the 1930s, I don't think they had Ziploc bags. But this might be how I might crush them if I needed crushed nuts today. There's your nuts crushed, just like that. And they look just about like the ones from the choppy gadget. Now, they didn't have Ziploc bags in the 1930s, but you could have put it in butcher paper or any kind of brown paper, and it would have worked just as well. So far, the chopper and the rolling pin are winning. I'm gonna pull out the modern cousin of the nut crusher. If you've watched television in the United States in the last decade, then you've probably seen Vince the ShamWow guy, who also sold you the Slap Chop. Now, this is not the Slap Chop brand. This is OXO. This is more of a quality chef's tool. But we're going to check out the OXO and see how it does compared to the other 3 methods. So after a little bit of a planning malfunction, we are back and ready to test the modern Slap Chop to see how it does on these nuts versus the 1930s Slap Chop. I'm going to put these in here, and you all know how a Slap Chop works. It's stuck. Okay, there it goes. About the same. So honestly, this to wash versus this to wash, I don't even know if it's worth it. All this plastic, I think the 1930s version might be just as easy. This was pretty simple to use. It did the job. So let's do the comparison. We're going to start with the nuts from the 1930s nut chopper, from my knife and my terrible knife skills, from the rolling pin, from the modern Slap Chopper. So honestly, they really all did a decent job. The knife did the worst job. The 2 Slap Choppers probably did the best job. So really, even though technology and appearance has changed drastically in 90, almost 100 years, I'm not sure it got any better. And this certainly is more pleasing to look at and kind of more pleasing to handle, quite honestly. So yes, 1930s original Slap Chop, it's a win for me. You couldn't just go to the store and buy a bag of chopped nuts. So if you were making cookies and you needed chopped pecans, that'd be the way to go. So tell me, did it work as well as you thought it would?